Alright, now this is an addendum to the previous file because I wanted fellow Americans to understand the powerfulness of this technology and what's happening to me and my fellow targets. And excuse me, I apologize that I'm lying down while making this video, but I maybe about 4 times at the most a month I take a break from running back and forth to universities. You know, I'm usually out and about in the community uploading videos and using the internet to expose this crime, and yesterday I fell and hurt my back, so I decided to take it easy today, and I am still doing administrative work. But as far as taking a break to make this video, I decided to kind of lay back for probably just part of it in order to explain to you, well, in particular in reference to this video, it's going to be an addendum to the last video. And that video will be pasted in the comments feature of this one, so you can understand how it's an addendum. In the previous video, I mentioned the Benner Law Firm and how I was, how I literally went there, and in fact, I even got some videos showing Benner Law Firm's business card, and I literally went there to talk to an attorney about making an appointment. And I was given a business card, and I was told to come back or send an email or call. And I told them that it was in reference to the case, in reference to the children, the class action lawsuit, in reference to hundreds and possibly thousands of children that had been falsely and deliberately diagnosed with epilepsy at OakWood Hospital in Dearborn, Michigan. And they had plans for these children, because I'm going to tell you something right now. 2 things. This doctor could have diagnosed them with anything. If it was just about insurance fraud, this doctor could have diagnosed them with other things that would have brought more money towards him in reference to the type of services he would have rendered from them as a result of him diagnosing them with other things they didn't have. Also, when this lawsuit, when he was discovered in reference to what he was doing, he was terminated from Oakwood Hospital's employment. He then left the country and went to Saudi Arabia and was doing the same thing in a hospital in Saudi Arabia and got caught. And I ran across that blog as a result of seeing a post online in reference to the Oakwood Hospital fiasco of an individual that was in the military over in the Middle East, one of our troops. And he's seen it on a satellite coverage on the internet. I mean, not on the internet, on the news. And in reference to how Saudi Arabia broadcasted on their news station in reference to how he got caught doing it over there. And he just put 2 and 2 together that it was the same doctor, so he posted a blog about it, or a comment about it in a blog, stating, yeah, this is the same doctor that just got busted for it over here. And so basically what I'm trying to tell you is that, and if you don't believe what I'm saying in reference to how these expeditions are going on transnationally, which means it's going on all over the world, okay? Because it's these types of expeditions, the remote neural monitoring is now out in criminal hands. It's been given to the wealthy. It's gotten to the point now to where the government doesn't even have control over it really even anymore, but they do protect it to at least a small degree because of the simple fact of how it's been involved in certain expeditions in reference to the technology, okay? And so they won't assist any victim when it comes to it, because they've actually been part of certain expeditions that have been involved with it. And if they advocate for an individual who's been a victim of it as a result of organized crime having the technology, okay, even though a lot of the organized crime is connected to the city, state, and federal level, because it's organized crime in the system. So the point I'm trying to make to you here is this, is that if they ever allow anybody to win any type of lawsuit, whether it be a class action or a civil or a criminal or a medical malpractice when it comes to this technology, then that's going to open up a precedent for other targets to build on, and they won't allow it. Even James Walbert's case, who's finally has been recognized by a federal court, a state representative advocated for him, and he still has not gotten no restitution or no criminal charges have ever been filed in reference to the wild animals who did what they did towards him, okay? And so because the government will not allow it. Now, I was watching one YouTube video in reference to, I think it was a colonel's wife. The colonel was involved in something, and I don't know if he was blowing the whistle or he just maybe witnessed. I don't know why he got killed, but his wife believes he was murdered. And it was a direct result of, I guess, what he was involved in while he was in the military. And he ended up getting murdered for whatever reason. I don't know if he witnessed something he wasn't supposed to, or they started feeling uncomfortable in reference to how much he knew, or if he did the wrong thing at the wrong time, but he ended up getting murdered. Well, as a result of her being married to him for, I guess, over 25, 30 years, she was able to figure things out in reference to what she heard her husband talk about, what he talked about with her, what he talked about over the phone, and things that she witnessed purposely in the midst of the 25 to 30 year marriage in reference to interactions, I guess, that he had with fellow military service personnel. And she went and made some YouTube videos. They did a documentary on her, and she's all over the internet. I forgot her name, and it might take me a week, even a week or two. I saved her YouTube videos in one of my email files, and I'll look for it and eventually paste it in the comments feature of this one. But she flat out states it in a documentary they did on her because of how important her husband was. She flat out stated it, that at the end of the day, that the military is 100% behind all major court decisions that occur in the United States. You think that it's the military is separate from civilian life? Think again, is what she said. She said basically anything that's got to do with anything that will affect the federal government or even a state government when it comes to certain issues, the military has the last say about it. Because all this technology that is being used right now came from military development. Okay? And it's still being used in many, 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 many ways, including technology that's being developed that it will work with in the future. Okay? So you gotta look at it this way. The military is going to protect its investment, it's going to protect its involvement in the development of it, and it's going to protect its image. Okay? And how do they do that? Through murder, of a target who knows the whole truth, like me. My father was Chief MP to General Curtis LeMay. I mean, I got NASA in my family, Air Force in my family. My ex-husband was in the Navy. He was part of this organized stalking expedition that went on towards me. He was an arranged marriage that I discovered almost 20 years after my divorce. Yeah, as a result of finding all this out in the midst of this organized stalking expedition. You would not believe what I know and what I've discovered, and how my parents have been involved in every single thing that has happened to me as an adult, even when I wasn't talking to them for over 20 years. They were still involved in this from behind the scenes and had no idea whatsoever. So I don't know if you can imagine what that's like. Finding out after your life has been brutally assaulted from every angle, okay? After you've been exploited, after you've been, your whole life has been torn away from you, every aspect of your life. Okay? And then finding out that your parents were connected to it in specific ways, okay, as an adult. And then finding out that human trafficking was one of the ultimate motives. I mean, can you imagine, you growing up and you having a mother and a father who acted like they cared about you, and then finding out later they were directly involved in even a possible rape of you? I mean, can you imagine what that would be like? And then you have the neural manipulation. Yeah, that they were involved in as a child towards me. The human experimentation, they were directly involved in that. I can't even begin to tell you the different types of, and the lengths of years that I have walked around traumatized, in shock, because as I was walking around every single day within these years, these time spans, I was still being subject to 2 organized stalking tactics. Which meant I was walking around traumatized, victimized, in shock, while being neurally manipulated, while experiencing electronic harassment and not having a name for it, while being gang stalked and not having a name for that, and while feeling hyper vigilant and hyper threatened every day by the individuals they were putting along my path every day, through means that I had no idea, that I could not articulate mentally how it was being done. Remote neural monitoring is how a lot of it's being done. They literally neurally monitor where a target's thinking about going and then place the individuals along a target's path to engage in organized stalking. And if you don't know about remote neural monitoring, you can't figure out how they're placing these people along your path before you even get there. to engage in organized stalking sensitization tactics for you to witness. This in turn makes you feel stalked because they got to know where you're at in order to have these people placed in environments you're entering as you're entering it. If you don't know about remote neural monitoring, how can you understand how they're putting people along your path in environments you thought about going to, and as you're going to it and entering it, they're already there doing it? Okay? How did they know? How did they know? And that's what makes you feel psychologically undermined, and that's what alters your perception about reality. Okay? And this in turn makes you feel traumatized. It puts you in a state of shock. Victims of this crime literally walk around in states of traumatic shock for years on end every single day. And that's not including what they hear through the microwave auditory effect and through the neurophone. The neurophone is an actual device they can hold up to their face and talk into. And what they say into the phone is transmitted into the target's head through different levels of perceptual awareness. Yeah. Your brain is literally even being talked to by somebody you can literally hear what somebody's saying into a phone at different perceptual levels and at different monotone levels, which means that you hear it, but you barely hear it, which keeps you guessing about what you're hearing. Yeah, go to www.surveillanceissues.com and look under the Hearing Voices feature. So I went to the Benner Law Firm out in Farmington Hills, Michigan, that handled the class action lawsuit in reference to the hundreds of children that this doctor was doing this to. Then I started communicating with them through email over at the University of Michigan, where I was being gang stalked on a feverish scale. I have blogs that go all the way back to 2007 and 6 and email files stating what I was putting up with over at U of M in Dearborn, Michigan. And blogs that went all the way back to 2007 and 8, and then I finally caught a gang stalker harassing me on video on January 20th, 2011. And understand this and be clear. It was around the same exact time I had already made contact with the Benner Law Firm while contacting Amnesty International, 60 Minutes, and every single other type of news outlet that you can think of, while contacting Amnesty International, while blogging on a feverish scale about what I was experiencing over at U of M, while contacting the Benner Law Firm. So in other words, I was making contact with people on a daily basis while writing blogs on a daily basis that were being put online exposing them, okay? And while reaching out to the Benner Law Firm, while catching for the first time an actual person who was harassing me after it was predicted on digital audio file. And how it came about was predicted on digital audio file as well. So what they did was, they seen through the possible me connecting with the Benner Law Firm, communicating with them on their computers at U of M library, communicating with the Benner Law Firm while they were being exposed all over the internet through Amnesty International, blogs, TV stations, 60 Minutes, twittering about it and everything. What they did was they got antsy, so they staged a big event and then tried to use that as a reason to ban me. It didn't exactly work right out on January 20th because I caught them on video. And since they knew I was carrying around a digital tape recorder, they couldn't flat out ban me on that night, because then that would have been caught on audio file as well after I was already predicting it in blogs. Because what I was doing was making blogs stating that this is what's going on at U of M and this is what they're likely to do. So they had to protect their exposure in this by making sure that what they did was not outwardly apparent, because they knew I was wearing an digital tape recorder, okay? Which I was then uploading the audio, what was on audio file, to video files, even though those video files weren't being uploaded yet because I couldn't figure out how to upload my videos. I didn't know anything about data reader writers back then. But they still seen, though, that I had the video cards and everything in my possession. So they were playing it cool. So what they did was they used their power positions in the community to either connect with the Benner Law Firm to protect their ass, because it is all over the internet that this technology came from the NSA. Okay? Yes, the National Security Agency, which was given to it from the development of the military. So if you look at the criminal aspirations and the military applications that this technology is being used for, you better be damn sure, since it originated from the military, that the NSA is gonna that they're gonna protect it, okay? Because if this got out, I mean, the news won't even cover this shit. The news will not. The mainstream media, the newspapers, and I know because I went down to the Detroit Free Press, which is a major news outlet for the different counties of Michigan. Okay, it's major. I mean, it's a newspaper that covers at least 7 counties. Okay, in Michigan, and WDIV, none of them will cover it because these types of expeditions are protected by the government because of the technologies that's used within them. Now, when you look at this at the end of the day, say if you're a male, or it doesn't even matter, you can be a female. If you're a mother or a father, and you get up in the morning and you look at your child, your dear sweet child, whether it be a boy or girl, and you look at the hopes and aspirations that you have for your child, and you see how the world works. So you get up and you do what is expected of you as a parent. You get up and you go to work. You provide for your family, and you see the steps necessary for your child that need to be cultivated today while your child is growing up, preparing for them to go to college when they get older, so they can then get a job, get married, have children, and so on and so forth. Now, if you knew that there was little technology out there that could literally neurally enslave your child for the worst heinous criminal expeditions that you can think of, understand this and be clear. If this type of technology, which it has, originated from the military and has been given to the wealthy, corporations, organized crime, and to pretty much anybody who's got a degree that knows how to develop it, it's themselves. Because that's where it's literally getting to the point now. Because it's all over the internet now. Neural decoding, psychotronics. If the average American citizen knew about brain entrainment, neural enslavement, remote neural monitoring, there would be massive uprisings all over the United States. Understand this and be very clear. They've already used this technologies to get people addicted to drugs and keep them using, to get people addicted to gambling, to get people involved with nonstop drinking of alcohol to the point to where they just believe they're alcoholics when they're really not. They're just being stimulated to drink. Yeah, excessive compulsive behaviors, gambling, insurance fraud, racketeering, human trafficking. They'll literally, because they not only use this technology to nearly enslave people, they're also combining it with blacklisting of employment, okay? Staged vehicle accidents. You'll eventually lose your home if you're unemployed. Yeah, you'll eventually lose your home or your apartment, and they blacklist you from future employment because they got power positions in the community to make sure that you never get a job again. Yeah, they'll stage a vehicle accident so you don't even have a car to sleep in. Yeah, then when you break down and go to the hospital because you're being neurally manipulated from a remote distance using remote neural monitoring, because this stuff can cause panic attacks, it can alter you neurally, it can literally even, with the combined technology that they also use, they can literally even stop your heart. And they're using this against anybody that they can in order to make money off of the neural enslavement that's achieved through the brain entrainment that's eventually brought about once the destitution is created. They will neurally manipulate your wife from a remote distance to act aggressive towards you. Yeah, every single day until you've had enough and you divorce her, without you even knowing or your wife even knowing that this is happening to you and to her. They will neurally manipulate your child to get your child to act out, so you think it's just a behavior disorder. You take your child to a doctor, and he's put on all different types of psychotropic medications that aid and abet them because they're being now cognitively impaired while they're being remotely neurally manipulated. And this is all done to set your child up for future devastation and alterations of his destiny as he's an adult. Yeah, while they're manipulating one of your spouses. If you're a male, it's the female spouse to go after. If you're a female, it's the male spouse they'll neurally manipulate to cause a divorce. They literally will break up families just to get a hold of the wife and the child. Yeah. They'll blacklist the father from employment while all this is going on. Or neurally manipulate him to have anger episodes, including beating his wife or his children. This is the type of technology that third-party individuals will literally and deliberately, with complete malice aforethought, sit outside of your home and use against you in order to break up your family, to take everything your family's got. And since they use this technology on a cost-effective manner, where they're literally piggybacking off the frequencies of power lines, stationary satellites in the community, and since artificial intelligence runs it, the only person that they really have to use is a programmer to monitor the results of how you're being neurally manipulated, to keep it going on a non-stop basis, because this artificial intelligence is set up to where it's got a parameter on how to alter any specific human being they pick out of your family to keep that individual altered periodically throughout one day, or constantly throughout one day. And it's just a computer that's run by artificial intelligence. And so it's a very cost-effective expedition for them. They don't even have to be present for this computer to take over and alter one of your family members from a distance all day long, day after day, week after week, month after month, until the family gets dissolved and torn apart. And all they do is monitor the monitor, maybe once or twice a week, or once a month, twice a month, because I have a feeling the technology is even set up to where the technology actually will even contact the person who monitors the monitor when something might go wrong as a result of the evoked potentials that's being read by the monitor. And because this is very sophisticated technology. I mean, it's sophisticated almost beyond your mind's dimensions in reference to neurodecoding, EEG readouts, and how they got it set up to where they got the parameters of it set up when the managers are to be alerted if something is going haywire, or if an event's being transpired, because it's all set up through technology that is handheld device. Okay, so all they do is go about their day and live their lives, and they just do nothing but check in with the remote neural monitor itself while they're out in the community living their lives. Okay, and this is one of the reasons why I expose this crime. Fellow citizens, fellow San Diegoans, and fellow Americans, this is literally the most important video you'll literally ever watch in your lifetime. And why is that? Because right now, this has literally already happened to millions of Americans. It's currently happened to hundreds of thousands of Americans right now in real time. And this can literally happen to anybody. Anybody. You can be walking down the street and somebody might eyeball your spouse and think he's good looking. Your spouse might offend somebody in a grocery store that's connected to one of these expeditions. And take down your spouse's license plate number and get it. And since these individuals are directly connected in the business community, go to Google and type in organized stalking or gang stalking and work mobbing. Work mobbing is achieved on such a huge scale, if you thoroughly research that in itself, you'll be able to see, because that's nothing but gang stalking at work. And since organized stalking and gang stalking is directly connected to remote neural monitoring expeditions, you can clearly see about how these individuals are infested within the community like you would not believe. And so when you think about this at the end of the day, how do I know that the person who's acting friendly towards my spouse at work is just not trying to enter his life through friendly, casual means to eventually be used for organized stalking expeditions later on down the road? Because they got to get into your life to learn about you in order to be able to set up a template of behaviors towards you. By finding your vulnerables, your weaknesses, your likes, your dislikes, your limitations, your financial means. They get your license plate. They got people. I went down to DMV 3 days ago to apply for a California license and was gaslighted by 2 different DMV workers. What does that tell you? That tells you they can look up who I am just by my license plate. I don't have a car, but my license number. And so if they work in DMV, all they got to do is take down your license plate number, call a connected individual at DMV, find out where you are and where you live, and the rest is history. Okay? So this is what I want you to understand. These organized stalking expeditions and the technologies that they have in their possession can literally get into your life through extremely clever and creative means, which are all normal appearing. Okay, from anything from a cable installer to a telephone utility installer to a grocery store clerk. I'm literally subject to do organized gang stalking tactics by people that work at Ralph's, CVS, Burger King, over at Friars Mission Center off of Frazee and Friars Road in San Diego, California, by Jack in the Box employees that work off of Hazard Center Driveway in San Diego, California, which is right off of Friars and Frazee Road, by Ultrastar Movie Theater uh, employees over at Hazard Center Ultra Star, because as a result of the community notification that is sent out to businesses, they're told what to do and how to do it. But I'm going to tell you right now, I've been a target of this crime now openly for 10 full years. So I can tell somebody who's been just told what to do and how to do it versus somebody who's got skills and experience in doing it before. I can tell, okay, because of how crafted they engage in the sensitization tactics towards me when I enter their environment. You can tell by facial expressions, by the physical gestures, and how well they're able to execute them in a crafted expedition versus one who's just been told what to do and tries to do it. Okay? And as a result, I'm here to tell you today that Ralph's employees over at Friars Mission Center, Burger King employees, okay, how they've literally even worked hand in hand with people coming in behaving as customers, and CBS employees have been really briefed on how to engage in organized gang stalking activities. And this is, hang on a second, see if they say, oh my god. Anyway, so I gotta go. I'm making these videos in order to be able to help people understand what's really happening, and I know a lot of people that are watching this might think to themselves, well, this is unfortunate this is happening to somebody, and I ain't never got to worry about this. Understand this and be clear. Go to Google and type in organized stalking in universities. Don't put an and between those two words, organized stalking in universities. Just type in organized stalking universities. You're going to get 7,600,000 responses. Those huge amount of Google-generated responses are not there for no reason. When you Google organized gang stalking or gang stalking to work mobbing, and come to understand how work mobbing is so crafted against individuals in every section of the employment sector, you're going to begin to understand about how the illusions of America being free in a democratic society is nothing but 100% complete bullshit. That you have no idea what your coworker is involved in. You have no idea what when you go into a grocery store, what these people who are acting friendly to you, who are literally taking your money from you and your credit card information from you and acting friendly and acting like everything is normal, what they're really involved in. I make these, and what these university members are doing, teachers, university staff, campus safety staff, students, how they all work together in these organized crime expeditions to tear down people's lives, to get a hold of them, to exploit them in the most heinous ways that you can literally imagine. Yeah, including identity theft. Okay? So I'm here to tell you today, the fellow citizens and parents, extensively Google organized stalking and gang stalking at Google and YouTube, remote neural monitoring, and electronic harassment, because it is better for you to be informed than not to be informed. And if you run across anything that that you read in reference to YouTube videos and blogs that you have not been able to make sense of yet, do not disregard it, okay? Because of two reasons. You got to thoroughly understand how organized stalking and this technology is used hand in hand in order to see what a target might be exposing. You got to also remember that a lot of targets are traumatized, so they don't exactly articulate what's happening to them all the time in a coherent fashion. You're going to eventually run across a few blogs that are like that, and you're going to run across blogs that are written by actual disinformation agents, who are nothing but organized stalkers who are getting online pretending to be targets, who are discrediting what other targets are talking about. Yeah. Now, this is literally the lengths and scopes of what they do. So, my name is Leslie Williams. The only way that you're going to be able to make factual sense of what's happening to us targets is to take the time to do the research. Okay? I'm in San Diego, California. My name is Leslie Williams. I make these videos for you, so you can watch your back, for your sake, your spouse's sake, your parents' sake, because they're doing this to the elderly too, like you would not believe, to get a hold of their assets and to exploit their insurance. Okay? They're doing this to parents in order to be able to separate the mother from the father and then eventually try to get a hold of the children possibly as well. They're into human trafficking, and you would not believe the things they're into. Racketeering of all types of schemes. They set up group homes, foster care homes, yeah, and then implode families from a distance using this technology, okay? Literally to break up and implode families, okay? Through all these creative means that I've already mentioned, just to get a hold of you and what you got. And I'm talking about everything you got. From your children to your spouse to your money to your insurance, okay? And this is why I make these videos, so you can educate yourself to watch your back, okay? My name is Leslie Williams. I'm in San Diego, California, and I humbly and gratefully make these videos for you.